Before maps carved up borders, before colonial flags fluttered over rivers, before the name Hambukushu appeared on parchment or map, there was movement, there was memory, and there was myth. This is the beginning of the Hambukushu story, a journey across rivers, generations, and identities. Welcome to Becoming the River, Origins of the Hambukushu. Now, this is a first of its kind comprehensive course on Mukursu history where we will be exploring the origin stories, social structures, cultural migrations, and spiritual philosophies of the Mukursu people of the Okavango-Zambezi sphere. The Hambukushu are a small group of Central South Bantu agroforagers who inhabit the Congo-Zambezi-Kavango Basin. Yes, I admit 4 hyphens is borderline criminal, but let's unpack it. Central South Bantu. Now, that's a linguistic classification. We're talking about a broad family of over 100 Bantu-speaking ethnic groups spread across Central and Southern Africa, the DRC, Zambia, Angola, Namibia, and of course, Botswana, where many of the Hambukushu now live. Their language is called Hambukushu. It's nestled into the K30 zone of the Guthrie classification, which is sort of a linguistic GPS for Bantu tongues. The other term there is agroforager. Yes, I made that up, but hear me out. It captures a people who blend agriculture, both crop cultivation and livestock, with foraging, wild fruits, nuts, fish, and even a little hunting when needed. So Hambukushu weren't really farmers or foragers, they were both, and fishermen and women, cattle headers and traders. Yes, they had a mixed economy. And this is going to matter, and we're going to explain why. The Congo-Zambezi Basin, now this is another Franken phrase, but it works. What it means is this is a vast watery world they inhabited. The rivers that stitched together forest and floodplain, mountain and marsh. The Congo, the Zambezi, and the Kavango. 3 mighty basins, 1 migratory corridor, and 1 cradle of Hambukushu history. So yes, it's a mouthful and maybe a little made up, but isn't that what all origin stories are at first? Made up until they are made real. So today the Hambukushu can be found in Botswana, Namibia, and Angola, and parts of Zambia, a living testament to centuries of migration and also the legacy of colonial partition. But before we understand who they became, we must first ask, where did they begin? What names did they carry through time? Well, I'm glad you asked, so let's jump straight to it. The name Hambukushu first appears in recorded history in the mid-19th century. In 1857, Hungarian trader Laszlo Matyar made mention of a group he called the Muccusu, who settled downstream in the Kavango from the Kwangwari and the Mbunza. Well, soon after that, variations of the name, like the Portuguese Muccusu, appeared in colonial documents. The most accurate early spelling we have comes from Carlos Dupaquet's 1881 map, where we see the name Hambukushu. But the Hambukushu were known long before that, usually under other names or misnomers. Some people call them Dibebes people, which is a butchered pronunciation of Fumu Dieve the first, who was the son of Queen Rukonga, who reigned from 1820 to 1864, and some of the Tswana called him Lubibi, and at some point I thought there were 3 different people, but We also find names like Havamasiko, which is likely a misrendering of Hakamathiku. Mathiku was the queen mother of Fumu Mashambo, who will play a key role in Hambukushu's unification, and her son actually will lead an expedition when the Mukursu search for a new home. The queer called her Mushidikadi. Wasn't a compliment. Anyway, some explorers like Frederick Green and Charles Anderson referred to them as the Baveko, and yes, that was also another terrible misnomer because it was a transliteration of the term Hawiko or Mawiko, which means Westerners, which was a generic label used by the Lui or the Lozi to describe the loosely organized groups that lived on the west of the Zambezi, and in the 18th century, the Hambukushu were among those. Well, let's not be harsh on these early historians and writers for not getting the names right, because the truth is, it is a difficult thing to identify the Hambukushu. They were not always one group. They were a network of clans, nomadic, fragmented, and autonomous. Not until the early 19th century did these clans begin to unite under a single authority. I choose to mark this unification as beginning with Fumu Mashambo around 1815. But even then, the road was not smooth. Succession disputes continued, factions broke off, identity was still fluid. So where exactly do the Hambukushu come from? Well, the answer depends on where you choose to begin. And I don't know where to begin, so how about we go to the very beginning? Prehistory. All right.